question is from all my neurodivergents who are also dreading what is happening right now in the world. Do you weirdly feel a sense of comfort knowing that you were not crazy? After all the people around you in your community called you crazy, after teachers would call you crazy for conceptualizing things and the inconsistencies that were happening around us, clocking the propaganda, and your nervous system being in overload, trying to explain things that people just are not listening to because we thought too deeply and using our pattern recognition. Like, do you feel, even though, yes, we probably feel a sense of dread, but do you also feel that sense of comfort knowing that the veil has lifted?
Wasn't the labeling of being crazy or the arguing back and forth. It wasn't the misdiagnosis like David L. Rosenthal or Ball or whatever, who did that study in 1973, and he was diagnosed as schizophrenic as well as other psychologists, and being misdiagnosed with bipolar. That wasn't even the cupcake. It was when my offspring got weaponized by these people, and that neutralized me. Because the thing about it is, some of us exist, really, we thought we were existing to give to others. Because we didn't want to be sources, or we didn't want to be the people. I'm a person who can convey information to one or two people, but it's overstimulating for me to be around groups of people, because that's what the neurodivergent experience is and what it's like to be intelligent. For a lot of highly intelligent people, they're awkward around large groups of people. So I can tell you this now because I have no dog in this fight, but a lot of the traumatic things you go through, because they don't want another Norma Jean or Albert Einstein. If you notice, there hasn't been another. They suppress those. Every person you see, these physicists, these people, they're manufactured. So the government's history of testing things on populations without consent is well documented. MK Ultra, Experiment 731, and scientists from the Holocaust were given immunity through Project Paperclip. Look into that. The fact that they were doing controlled experiments on soldiers in Vietnam, on entire communities, on psychiatric patients, it shows they view certain populations as expendable test subjects, and that mindset didn't just disappear after the programs they got caught doing. When you've been through multiple random hardships that seem designed to break you down or make you crash out or test your responses, it's a natural wonder if you were selected for something and being studied in a simulation. For me, I had a traumatic brain injury. I experienced loss, as in people I care about have passed away. The isolation, the patterns don't miss at all. If you've been through SA, like things that literally normally break someone's mind and experience and cause them to literally shut off and click, and you're still sane, that means you have a higher potential for controlling the system, because your brain has the ability to actually fly, and they're keeping that from you. The CIA did study that, hence why it has some actual uses. No fallacy here. But the thing about it is, if you watch the X-Files in the 90s, you would know we're living in the X-Files. The bureaucracy, everything that show depicted is what happened. The truth is out there. The government does not admit anything until they can no longer deny it anymore. So I'm not giving or releasing information that's not out there for you to not find. The thing is, a lot of you are reactive versus proactive. And someone, if you've been following me, you're like, she sees a lot of patterns. If you were to have a conversation with me and you say, well, I can't keep up with all this because you just dropped a lot of information, that's pretty much predominantly Western society. So when you're around people who don't understand you, and literally they're focused on entertainment and music, which you should not be listening to music at all, because it's hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. So the things that go in your mouth is the food. It's what you see, your ears. And I'm not talking about because it's mainstream, like, what is it called, secular music, even the gospel. No, you should be listening to binaural beats and things that raise your vibration. You should not be doing any of this stuff. And the thing is, as long as you're distracted, you will be inundated with information you don't need. There's a lot of things that I know, but I don't know how to convey them in a way that makes people comfortable without me sounding condescending of, yeah, I know this and I'm trying to tell you, but when you are attractive and pretty, like, I'm not an Einstein. So Einstein literally was a very awkward man. He wore little baby women heels. He had a litany of mistresses and things like that. And that's normal for someone with a high intelligence because you can deal with multiple people like Solomon. But the thing is, people try to put you in a box. Like the manufactured people you see who are deemed smart, like the Mensa, the GATE program. People were in the GATE program because they were actually people who didn't question anything. Those were kids who were picked by the teacher and their parents to be in a subjective program. And it taught you elitism at a very low, like, young age. They were observing, can we have discrimination in a class? And you do. Because people who were in the GATE program discriminated against people. Oh, well, I do this. I was not in the GATE program because I was diagnosed with autism. And when you're diagnosed with autism, back in the late 80s, it was MR, you were treated differently. And even if you had autism with being in the GATE program, the autism trumped it because you were awkward. And it was just like, it's like Sheldon. It was like the teachers talk about him and they're like, well, he's a little right, but he dealt with the differences and he had a supportive family. But if you didn't, and you went through all these hardships and you're seeing all these patterns and you're looking like, these aren't the people. The awareness is there. And then you have the Kundalini awakening. It's just so much that happens that I'm honestly not saving anybody, though, because I'm honestly neutralized at this point. I'm not in any way, shape, or form looking to wake anybody up or cause any type of dissension or uprising. Why? Because honestly, they took Jesus's life because they like this. There are multiple people who are okay with the normalcy of suffering. They are okay with the normalcy of life not getting better, just complaining about it and scrolling and doing what they do. And yes, this message was long, but it is what it is.